Fellow compatriots, good day. Before we go ahead, I need to introduce a few of the ADF leaders with me here. By my immediate left is one of the fathers of ADF, His Grace Archbishop Isaac Chijioke Mwobia, the Archbishop of Aba Province, Anglican Church. And next to him is Captain Wafo, who is the acting publicity secretary, deputy publicity secretary of ADF. By my immediate right is Barrister Chidema Udebuna, a member of ADF Legal Bureau, and also Assistant Secretary of ADF Enugu State. Next to him is Dr. P.C. Chukwu, Patrick C. Chukwu, who is the coordinator of our Akula program projects. And next to him is Dr. Ubochi, a medical doctor and one of the leaders of ADF. Listen. Let me also ask for permission for the absence of the chairman of our Board of Trustees, Archbishop Dezu Anobog, who unfortunately has not arrived, is on his way to this place, and some other leaders. The purpose of this conference is to restate the position of ADF on one of the greatest waves, political waves in our history that's raging today as we approach the election of 2023. We want to restate our position as an organization. And the title of this presentation is Alibo Development Foundation Press Briefing to reaffirm our support for the Obi Datti presidential ticket. And it's taking place at ADF Secretariat today. As we approach the critical moment of the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria, we of the Alibo Development Foundation, ADF, hereby reaffirm our support for the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria. We're saying that election must and should hold. And more importantly, we want to restate our endorsement of the Peter Obi Datti Badba Ahmed presidential ticket. ADF is undoubtedly familiar with the critical nature and of the various dimensions of the political struggles in Nigeria. We're familiar with the various dimensions of the struggles that have been raging in Nigeria over the years. Electoral struggle is one of them. And indeed, a critical and special dimension of the political struggle that has been raging in Nigeria since its formation. It is a common knowledge to most well-meaning people in this country that the political challenges facing us are due to lack of democratic governance and poor leadership. We can only overcome those challenges if we change the mode of governance and leadership in the country. This we can do either by force or through democratic means. Decades of military rule in Nigeria have proved the failure of use of force in enthroning good governance and democracy in our society. Elections are the preferred ways of achieving this in any democratic society. Consequently, no sane and politically conscious people can ignore electoral struggle in the bid to enthrone the right leadership and achieve democratic governance. Consequently, those who preach election boycotts or disruption of the current electoral process are not doing so out of mature understanding of the nature of the political challenges facing us and our neighbors in the Nigerian Federation. Yes, it is true that a people may boycott an election under certain political situations, especially under situations of utter hopelessness. But this is not the case in the Nigerian Federation at the moment. It's not the case with the Igbos in the Nigerian Federation at the moment. For some time now, ADF has recognized that, in quotes, the longing for freedom and indeed persistent songs of freedom have been raging within all the marginalized segments of the Nigerian Federation. Hence, Ndi Igbo are not alone presently in the struggle for political freedom, in the struggle for a political state where they are guaranteed their God-given rights of self-determination. Virtually all our neighbors who suffer the same conditions of political deprivations and arrogant domination, they are now awake and are boldly determined to free themselves from the clutches of political domination and misrule. What is more, all segments of the Nigerian society, particularly the youths and the Talakawa from all segments of our society, those whose fundamental rights as human beings are mortgaged and destroyed by misrule and sordid, corrupt, and arrogant political leadership, they are now all determined to free themselves and win for themselves their God-given freedom and regain their humanity, which have been systematically destroyed by mindless and selfish political leadership. Hence, the Ndi Igbo are not alone in the current political struggle. Therefore, 2023 is not the same as 1967. It is further consoling that critical political segments in Nigerian society stand very boldly for the political rights of Ndi Igbo within the Nigerian Federation. So why should any Igbo man in his right senses attempt to boycott or disrupt the current election in Nigeria? We of the Ali Igbo Development Foundation do sincerely acknowledge the support of our neighbors and all the critical segments of leadership in Nigerian Federation. Their recognition and support of the political rights of Ndi Igbo as guaranteed in a genuine federal system. The political principles of power sharing, namely zoning and rotation of power, are inevitable, strong cementing elements necessary for the health, stability, and endurance of any political federation. These are the principles that make the United Arab Emirates, UAE, stable and progressive politically and economically. Now that the critical leadership within the Nigerian Federation recognize the rights of Ndi Igbo within Nigerian Federation, why should we not reciprocate their goodwill? And here we must express our deep appreciation to those of the leading political forces who have come out boldly and firmly to endorse the political rights of Ndi Igbo within the Nigerian Federation. Yes, making an Igbo man the president, of course, of Nigeria does not cure the roots of marginalization and misrule in the Nigerian Federation. However, the massive and global support which the Peter Obi Datti Baba Ahmed ticket has received is based not on the ethnic origin, on their ethnic origins, but on the fact that most people believe that under their leadership, the various peoples of Nigeria shall, without any manipulation or compulsion, sit down to define the structures and the fundamental principles of their political future. Therefore, ADF joins millions of people all over the world in endorsing the Mr. Peter Obi Datti Baba Ahmed presidential ticket. ADF has in various public documents stated her unqualified support for Mr. Peter Obi as a credible, capable, and committed president for the Nigerian Federation. ADF did not just wake up and pick Mr. Peter Obi. We did this at a time there were other qualified contestants from Alibu, and we did it after serious historical survey and numerous encounters with Mr. Peter Obi. And here we wish to draw the attention of our fellow countrymen and women and international community to a well-researched publication with the title, The Challenges of Good Governance and Leadership in Nigeria, the Peter Obi Factor. As our evidence. This is the product of several field researches, pouring through various historical evidences, interrogating several key political and social actors, both in and outside Nigeria, on the person, on the character, performance, and achievements of Mr. Peter Obi while in and out of public office. The exercise involved the participation of well-meaning and patriotic Nigerians. This publication has been publicly presented in Lagos, in Enugu, in Owerri, and Abuja. The Liberated Development Foundation enjoins Igbo to do all in their power to ensure that nothing disrupts the elections in Igbo land. The same appeal goes to our neighbors in other parts of Nigeria. It goes to our town unions. And we're saying that our town unions must wake up and mobilize our youths and all and sundry to ensure that our people freely and effectively participate in the elections. Our people must ignore any call for election boycott. At this point, ADF must pay tribute to General Olusegun Obasanjo, General T.Y. Danjuma, Pade Banjo, Governor Tom of Benue State, including those religious leaders who are in the vanguard in the advocacy for justice for Igbo. The Liberated Foundation hereby salutes Mr. Peter Obi for his courage, his sagacity, and his vision for a new Nigeria, and his tireless efforts in the bid to champion the new order which the youths and all patriotic forces in Nigeria are yearning for, and therefore driving along with him. All of them are yearning for this in Nigeria. ADF equally takes special note of the pedigree, political and moral sagacity, and attributes of Dr. Datti Baba Ahmed, who is running as Obi's vice presidential candidate. Theirs is a union well made, indeed a union well made by our creator. The labor movement in Nigeria deserves our special commendation. The Labour Party, which is born out of this historic movement, is indeed a reincarnation of the historic vision of Pa Imodu and his comrades, including Wahab Goodluck, Ahaji Sumono, SOCZ, and many others. It is salutary that within the ranks of the leadership of ADF, there are veterans of this labor movement. Finally, ADF hereby calls on the INEC to ensure that there is no mago-mago in the conduct of the forthcoming elections. Only a free, fair, and credible election can guarantee the continued existence of Nigeria as a federal republic. Thank you. This statement is signed by Professor Tizade Manwala, ADF President, Dr. Onyi Buje, Deputy Secretary, Professor Kachukwa Wuzie, ADF Treasurer, Dr. J.C. Chukwukule, Chairman, ADF Enugu Chapter, Mr. Emmanuel Mock, Chairman, ADF Lagos Chapter, Captain Kasmea Nwafo, retired, Deputy Public Secretary, Madam Mario Okwo, Founder, Igbo Women Assembly, Barrister Max Ozaka, Coordinator, ADF Legal Bureau, Mesono Chiukeme, ADF Chairman, Abuja, Dr. P.C. Chukwu, Director of Project, Akurulo. And finally, by our fathers, Bishop Obi Udezonobog, Chairman, ADF Board of Trustees, and His Grace Isaac Chijoke Mwabia, member of ADF Board of Trustees. Thank you very much.